Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is part two of Voting the Bible. Let's talk about abortion. It seems quite strange to me that the only time that you really hear many Christians push the abortion issue and start stating all the facts about abortion is voting time. That's rather strange to me because if their concern was really for these children who are being aborted year after year, it seems like you would hear it more often than just when it's time to vote. But nevertheless, that happens to be the case. But I want to talk about abortion for a moment. I don't agree that it is right in any way, shape, or form. But let's talk about voting the Bible. You see, abortion doesn't start when a woman goes to a doctor's office or a clinic to have an abortion. That's not really where it starts. You see, it starts when two people make a decision to have sexual intercourse. Now, I remember a story in the Bible, Adam and Eve. You remember them? Well, Eve was the one that took the fruit and ate of it and then gave it to her husband. Well, I remember from that story that after they both had eaten, God called Adam. He said, Adam, wherefore art thou? In King James terminology. You see, Adam was the one responsible, even though Eve was the first one who ate. And even though Eve, I believe, probably conned him into eating the fruit. But Adam was the responsible one. Adam was the one that had to take the responsibility for the sin that she initiated. Well, let's jump back to this abortion. You see, two people decide they lay down and have sexual intercourse, and then out of that, sometimes what happens is a woman gets pregnant. I don't quite understand when we're talking about issues of abortion why it's the woman. It's always the woman, and we seem to forget that in order to produce a baby, it takes two. And so, um, sometimes I listen to again these preachers and they say if you've had an abortion, God will forgive you, he still loves you, and we love you. Now wait a minute, she didn't get pregnant by herself, but yet she's the one that needs all this forgiveness from God and from the person that loves her so much from the pulpit. Let's again take it back from where it starts. So they lie down together, they have this child. Then the woman decides, I don't want this child for whatever reason. She goes to the clinic and, says, I want an abortion. Well, in this whole entire process, there is a missing person. And it's the man, the one that planted the seed, the one that actually impregnated her. He's the total missing link from the time he lays down, they lay down together rather, to the time that she goes to the abortion clinic. He's MIA, missing in action. How does that happen? And so we consistently in our society point our fingers, Christian society, point our fingers at these women, point our fingers at the atrocity that is happening to all of these babies, while the man who started it never ever gets mentioned. Well, my dad said something in a sermon he preached when he was alive several years ago, and I'll never forget it. He said, I'm not going to stand up here and talk about these women that have abortions. He said, I'm going to talk about these men that lie to them, that say, I love you in order to get in their pants, that say, I'll be with you and I'm not going to leave you, and that say anything that it takes to get this woman to lie down with him. Let's talk about the man that lied. Let's talk about the man not only that lied, but that left after he finds out she's pregnant. Let's talk not only about the man that lied, the man that left after he found out that she was pregnant. Let's talk about the man that is just simply a loser. Hey, how about this? You know, if these men were so honorable, how come they're not standing in front of the abortion clinics talking about, you're not going to destroy my baby. I want to keep my baby. I want to provide for my baby. I want to take care of my baby. You don't see that. They're missing in action. So all the blame goes on the woman. Hey, how about this? How about the man stand up and take his place when he finds out that this woman that he's impregnated is going to have this baby? How about he stand up and say, you know what? Not only do I want to take care of my baby, I want to take care of you. I want to marry you. That was my responsibility. That was my bad. I did that. That is my child. That is my baby. I am the one that is supposed to provide for my child or any children that I bring into this world. How about we preach about not the 40 million children that are being killed every year? How about we preach about the 40 million men that are not taking their responsibility when they impregnate these women? I'm just saying. There was a woman who was caught in the act of adultery. And so she was brought before Jesus. And those accusers were ready to stone her because she was caught in the act of adultery. I guess back in those days, they forgot that it took two to tango as well. Well, they wanted to stone this lady. Jesus wrote something on the ground, and then he said, he who was without sin, let him cast the first stone. I'm not saying that in order to say it's okay to have abortions. I'm not saying that. But I am saying Jesus had the back of this woman who was just as much at fault as the man. And evidently Jesus realized that. And he wasn't willing to put this woman out on Front Street and put this woman out on blast because she made a mistake. You know, and when we stand in these pulpits and put these women out on blast because they have these abortions, we're not being like Jesus. We're not having their back. We're just pointing the finger and accusing them and forgetting about the one who is missing in action, that man who laid with her and lied with her to lay with her and then left her. And we simply call him a loser. And now I know that's not always the case. It isn't always the case. But I just want to tell the whole story. You know, it seems like we just tell part of the story. You know, and the part of the story that is told is abortion is wrong. Let's tell the whole truth. Nothing but the truth. So help me God. Stay tuned for part 3.